Hello and welcome to the Minimum Competence episode for Thursday, February 6, 2025. I'm your host for today, Andrew Leahy, a tax and technology attorney from New Jersey. On today's episode, AG Pam Bondi's DOJ shakeup, Google scrapping DEI hiring goals, Musk's federal buyout plan, and Bondi's crackdown on dissenting DOJ lawyers. Let's remember, keep your face always towards the sunshine and shadows will fall behind you, and read today's legal news. On this day in legal history, February 6, 1900, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, or PCA, was officially established following a ratification of the 1899 Convention for the Pacific Settlement of International Disputes. This marked a major step towards institutionalizing peaceful dispute resolution between nations. The PCA, headquartered in The Hague, Netherlands, became the first international tribunal designed to arbitrate conflicts between states, offering an alternative to war. While not a court in the traditional sense, the PCA provides administrative support for arbitral tribunals, helping resolve territorial, trade, and investment disputes. Recognizing the need for improvement, the 1907 Convention for the Pacific Settlement of International Disputes refined its procedures, further solidifying arbitration as a legitimate mechanism for international law. Over the years, the PCA's role expanded beyond state-to-state disputes to include cases involving international organizations, corporations, and even individuals. Today, it operates out of the Peace Palace, home to other key legal institutions like the International Court of Justice. With 109 member states, the PCA continues to handle complex cases, from border conflicts to environmental agreements. Its existence laid the groundwork for later international legal bodies, such as the International Criminal Court and various UN tribunals. By promoting arbitration over conflict, the PCA has helped shape a more structured and rule-based international legal order. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced a major shift in the Justice Department's white-collar enforcement priorities, scaling back efforts in foreign lobbying transparency and foreign bribery cases. The Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, or FCPA, unit will now focus on bribery cases tied to transnational crime, such as those facilitating human smuggling, drug trafficking, and arms dealing. Other FCPA investigations with no such connection will be deprioritized. Similarly, Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA, enforcement will be limited to cases resembling traditional espionage by foreign government actors. The Justice Department's Counterintelligence and Export Control section will focus more on civil enforcement and regulatory guidance rather than aggressive criminal prosecutions. These changes mark a significant pullback from the increased enforcement seen over the past decade, particularly under Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Bondi also disbanded the National Security Division's Corporate Enforcement Unit, an initiative championed by Biden-era Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco. It's unclear if the division will continue prioritizing corporate crime linked to adversarial nations like China and Iran. These policy shifts were part of a broader series of announcements as Bondi took charge as the nation's top law enforcement official following her confirmation on Tuesday night. Google is ending its diversity-based hiring targets and reviewing its broader diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI initiatives, aligning with a broader corporate trend of scaling back such efforts. The company previously set a goal in 2020 to increase leadership representation from underrepresented groups by 30% by 2025, but Chief People Officer Fiona Sacconi told employees that Google would no longer pursue aspirational hiring goals. This shift follows years of public DEI commitments, especially after the 2020 protests over police killings of George Floyd and other Black Americans. Google had also begun evaluating executives on diversity metrics, but recent SEC filings show it removed language reaffirming its DEI commitments. The Alphabet Workers Union, or AWU, criticized the move, calling it part of a broader anti-worker trend in the tech industry. Meanwhile, Google cited legal considerations as a federal contractor, stating it is reviewing compliance with court decisions and executive orders affecting DEI policies. Google will maintain internal employee groups such as the Black Googler Network and Trans at Google. The company's decision follows similar DEI cutbacks at Meta and Amazon amid increasing conservative pushback and legal challenges after the Supreme Court's 2023 affirmative action ruling. More than 40,000 federal employees have signed up for the Trump administration's buyout offer, which promises to pay through September if they resign by the end of February. This represents about 2% of the federal civilian workforce, with officials expecting a surge in applications before the Thursday deadline. The initiative is part of President Trump's second-term effort to reduce the size of federal government, led by Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk, who heads the Department of Government Efficiency. The White House initially projected that 5 to 10% of federal workers might accept the offer. Federal employee unions opposed the plan, questioning its legality and enforceability. The Office of Personnel Management has warned workers that job cuts are likely, with agency restructurings and layoffs expected. However, key employees in defense, immigration, law enforcement, and postal services are exempt from the deal. With nearly 298,000 federal employees eligible for retirement in the next 2 years, the administration's strategy could significantly reshape the workforce. Union leaders like Everett Kelly of the American Federation of Government Employees have urged workers to reject the offer, calling it misleading and driven by unelected billionaires. On her first day as U.S. Attorney General, Pam Bondi issued a directive stating that Justice Department lawyers who refuse to advance legal arguments on behalf of the Trump administration could face termination. The memo warns that attorneys who decline to sign briefs, delay cases, or impede the department's mission may be disciplined or fired. The move is part of a broader effort by Trump appointees to assert control over the Justice Department, which has already seen firings and reassignments of career lawyers. Bondi also announced a review of criminal and civil cases brought against Trump and his supporters, including prosecutions related to the January 6th Capitol attack. This weaponization working group, and that's in air quotes, will scrutinize cases Republicans claim were politically motivated under the Biden administration. Additionally, as aforementioned, Bondi scaled back enforcement of foreign influence laws, stating that criminal cases will only be pursued in instances resembling, quote, traditional espionage, shifting the focus to civil enforcement. These laws, which require individuals lobbying for foreign governments to register as foreign agents, were previously used to prosecute several Trump associates. Bondi's directive reflects Trump's allies' long-standing complaints that career DOJ attorneys obstructed his policies, such as resisting lawsuits against Yale's admissions practices and refusing to defend the 2017 travel ban. The memo asserts that DOJ lawyers cannot substitute their personal views for the administration's legal agenda. And with that, and as always, I thank you so much for listening to Minimum Competence, your daily news podcast for lawyers. If you're looking for more than Minimum Competence, links to further reading on all the topics touched on today are in the show notes. And reviews go a long way towards helping new listeners to find our show. If you have a moment and can leave a rating or review on your podcast player, we'd sure appreciate it. And if you know someone that might be interested in a story we cover, consider sending them the episode. But remember, nothing here should be construed as legal advice because it is certainly not that. Minimum Competence is available at minimumcomp.com and wherever it is you get your finely crafted podcasts. If you haven't checked out the website in a while, give it a look. There are complete transcripts and resources for each episode and its corresponding segments, as well as an opportunity to receive new episodes in email, newsletter, form. We'll see you back here tomorrow, and until then, remember, storms make trees take deeper roots.